Yeah.
You know, and if you're going to do like a hill start, literally no slippage, no nothing, it just creeps up the hill nicely.
How's it going, everyone? Today we've got a 350 ML, and I'm here with Sean.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's an ML350, which is a 3.7 litre V6 producing 240 horsepower at 2.2 tons.
Ooh, this is going to be a good interview. Let's get into it. So obviously this is an SUV. Is it two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, four-wheel drive?
Yeah, so it's actually four-wheel drive all the time. So it's always engaged in four-wheel drive. It also has a low-range mode. So if you want to go creep up a mountain, you can do that there. And like I said, it's off a 3.7 litre V6 producing 241 horsepower, but it's also driving a 5-speed automatic.
Yep. That's not bad. Picks up pretty good.
That's picking up pretty good. Like the bonnet picks up.
Very good low down torque.
Yeah, loads of low down torque. That's naturally aspirated though. No turbos to spool, no nothing.
Now, since it is four-wheel drive, have you found it useful in any way?
Yeah, so actually back in January this year, we went, not me and you, me and someone else, we went up over a mountain, and it was really badly snowing, which if you remember that. But there was a van stranded and a couple other sedans just stranded on the road where they couldn't get up the hill and couldn't get down the hill. We took it there, just breezed on past everyone. It slipped, of course, it was all on ice, but we made it up quite a steep hill. I think it was about a 15-16 degree incline, which is pretty damn steep for, you know, ice. And yeah, we were the only ones to be able to get up that road in 7 days.
No way.
No.
The mighty Mercedes.
That's it. You just get a different feel driving this compared to a lot of other SUVs. You know, you drive a Freelander, you drive a Evoque or whatever it is. This just seems to have like that more premium feel, even though the fact that it's a lot older. It just has that leather that's like soft, and it's got like loads of feeling, and you can squeeze the steering wheel. And it has a give. It's not like that hard fake.
It's a very thick leather steering wheel.
It is very thick and comfy.
Has the car got any modifications onto it?
Yes, it does. What it does is it has a gas conversion. So what this car can run on is both petrol and LPG gas. Now, for us where we live and where the car's owner lives, there is no LPG within about, I think it's about 18-19 miles away. So it's not ideal. That's also quite a small tank. And with LPG, it uses more LPG literage wise than petrol. So it's heavier on LPG, but LPG is about 70 pence a litre compared to £1.50. So it's quite considerably cheaper to drive it in LPG, but I mean, I think it's only got like a 30 litre tank or something in LPG.
Oh yeah, not really useful.
So, I mean, these cars aren't particularly light on fuel.
Yep.
They never have been. And I think I was reading it was about 12 to the gallon in some places I was looking.
Speaking of miles per gallon, how heavy is the car?
It's 2.2 tons.
Yeah.
And 2.2 tons always driving four-wheel drive. You know, if you have just like, you know, a normal car, you know, or like a normal pickup or SUV where you can disengage four-wheel drive, makes it so much lighter on fuel. But the fact you got, you know, four wheels always being driven by the engine, 2.2 tons, and I mean, it's SUV, it's not the most aerodynamic vehicle in the world. You're not getting the best fuel consumption, but I mean, it is such a luxurious and comfortable car. We took it across to Scotland. It was about 7 hours driving. Not a single complaint, everyone was comfortable, super great. But I mean, highway cruiser, you got cruise control, now he's on cruise control. Just by a flick of a paddle or a switch. It's also got speed limiting as well, that's one thing we never mentioned. You can go and let's say, so this is a 30 zone we're currently in. I can set it on 30 on the digital display there. My foot is now flat on the accelerator, we're not going to accelerate.
The G Wagon is the most well-known Mercedes SUV. What does this compare like to a G Wagon?
Well, the G Wagon was originally came about for the German military, the Geländewagen, and they used it for obviously German military purposes. Then this came about, and they actually use these for the German military as well. So they kind of have a bit of a similar past. I know the G Wagon is on a full-on space frame. Well, no, sorry, not a space frame, a ladder chassis. So basically, you can just take the body straight off, like a truck in a sense. Yeah. This is more of, you know, the chassis is like a monocoque, so you can't really do that. I mean, it makes it a bit lighter, but a bit better to drive, a bit more comfortable, not so truck-like, if you know what I mean. But I mean, G Wagons are just the more well-known version, I guess. Perfect cruiser, you know, you're going up a big steep hill, the engine doesn't even recognize as a hill, it's just moving mountains of massive steel and elegance and comfort, luxuriousness.
So being an SUV, how practical is it?
Well, it is rather practical if you look at what we were previously saying about, you know, going on a long distance trip. It's obviously big, spacious. We've also used it for, you know, towing stuff. You know, we had machinery and stuff we needed to move. We had a very big trailer, and this is the only car we had with a tow bar. So I mean, it towed, was it 5, 6, 7 big trips of really heavy equipment. Not an issue at all. Pretty much you could just idle it anywhere you go in. So I mean, fantastically useful. Great dog for the car. Great car for dogs. We got a Doberman. Doberman jumps in the back, perfect, loads of space. You know, you can go to IKEA. Like the other day, went and had to go fetch a trailer, and we have a trailer with a roof box we need to put on. Yeah. So I got a roof box you'd normally put on top of a car. Just put it in the back seats. I mean, literally took up the entire back, but you know, so much space in it. God. So, I mean, it's rather utilitarian, and you know, you've got the comfort and the, you know, plush leather interior, but I mean, you could put a whole load of stuff in it.
This video has been sponsored by SureSleep. SureSleep is a local Northern Irish bed retailer, and if you use the code GearShiftCrew, you get an extra £10 off on your next purchase. So enjoy the rest of your video.
If you're someone who speeds unintentionally, you need to get a Mercedes. Just put on speed limit in, set it to the speed limit on the road, you're fine. What would this be like comparison to an estate car? Oh yeah, so I mean, it's rather similar to an estate. I mean, the biggest difference is obviously it's a lot higher up. Estates are generally a little longer. Now, I don't think this is a short wheelbase. I think you do get a long wheelbase in this. I'm not too sure, but we'll put it here if we do. Obviously, that's going to be the biggest difference. With this here, the boot's not quite as wide. Not as wide. I mean, it's as deep as an estate. But I mean, it's practically an estate on steroids. Yeah. If you want to think of it that way.
So just to add into the crap fuel consumption. Yeah. What about the wheels?
Well, that also makes a big difference to them. You know, got massive wheels. Those there, believe it or not, are 17-inch. You know, when you think of a 17-inch alloy, usually you think of low profiles. These have a massive sidewall. I mean, you could literally probably put a 24-inch, 25-inch rim on there, and still have a profile. So it's huge wheels, and they're very wide as well. So I mean, that doesn't help with fuel consumption either.
Okay, so we're going to do a wee bit of an off-road test.
Just a little bit of off-road demonstration, yeah. So what we're doing is we're coming up a pretty steep hill. We'll actually put the incline here.
So as you can see, it's steep enough.
A rather steep enough hill. You know, and if you're going to do like a hill start, literally no slippage, no nothing. It just creeps up the hill nicely. And we're in high range. We're aren't even in low range. Just creeps up really nicely.
Does it very well, but that's because of the low down torque, like we were mentioning. Yeah. What would be some of the quirks of the car? Oh, some of the quirks of the car. It has the plushest leather. I think I've mentioned this before. You just feel how plush it is. But you've also got the hazard lights on top of the steering wheel, which is a rather random place. You actually have cup holders for a Mercedes, which is kind of random, specifically back in the 2000s, because I'm not sure if you watched the other E430 video we've had. We'll put that link in the description.
Yeah, that does not have cup holders, and it's very similar. I think it's only a 5-year age difference, which is nice to have cup holders. They're not the best cup holders in the world though. So we've actually got a 3D printed mountain for holding bigger cups, which is pretty cool. It's got the low range button, and like all Mercedes, it has a rest function. Do you know what the rest function means?
I don't know.
It's residual air. So when you go and you drive in, let's say the supermarket in the winter time, and it's really cold outside, and you ever go into the supermarket, get your stuff and come back and the car's cold, you can press the residual air button and it'll keep the heating system on for 30 minutes using the residual heat out of the engine, or on a really warm day, you can pump cool air into the car. So a bit like the Tesla, what's it called? The Tesla dog mode. You can keep the car cool or warm depending on what the setting is for about half an hour after turning it off. It also has some of the largest mud flaps I've ever seen that is not on a lorry. I mean, they are huge. I mean, they're like bigger than an A3 page. Literally. I think rally cars have smaller mud flaps.
They're very thick as well.
Chunky.
Very chunky, yes.
Chunky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down. I'm going to drop it into first gear here. And we're going to park it on a bit of an angle so we can do an angle test. See how that performs. What do you think? I mean, that's a pretty steep angle when you look at it. What do you think?
It is very steep, isn't it?
I mean, the car is sitting here, obviously it's on quite wide tyres.
Yeah.
We're all slumping to the side here. Ideally, more bolstering in the seats would have been fantastic. But, I mean, that's pretty impressive. What do you think? Now, let's do a bit of a sideways driving shot. See how it drives along at an angle.
I mean, we haven't mentioned how like comfortable it is.
Yeah, actually it is rather comfortable. I completely forgot about it. You know, when you're in a car like this here, you're so isolated from the elements, you just kind of forget that it's super comfortable, you know? You just kind of expect it to be comfortable, which is kind of a weird thing to think of, if you know about. So for a car from 2003, it also has parking sensors that beep and have a small display in the rear for you to see, yeah, as a driver.
Right.
So you actually look into your rearview mirror as the driver, and right above the tailgate is a bar with lights that show you how close you are. How cool is that?
That's a nice feature.
It is pretty good. It's weird to get used to because obviously you're not expecting to see it in the back.
Yeah.
You gotta look in the rearview mirror to see it, but I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, not a single struggle. We're gonna go over a bit of a bump here in the road. What road?
On the
There is no
on the
road.
ground. Yep.
And it's performing
That's
really nicely.
really comfortable, honestly.
Really, really nicely. And you know, we're just creeping up a hill here. Not a single issue or worry at all. And that's a pretty steep, you know, think about that. If we were to get out right now and demonstrate, it's quite steep. Like, you can just judge by how much he's slumping one direction. It's also got automatic headlights for a 2003 car, which is pretty good, as well as a self-dimming rear view mirror. So if someone's driving behind you with really, really bright lights, it self-dims it to stop you from being blinded by the light. But I mean, a really, really handy feature is in the driver's footwell is a 12-volt socket where you can plug in, obviously a 12 volts, you know, if it's going to charge your phone, if it's to pump the tires, and it's always got power on it, which is fantastic. I can't tell you how many times it's been useful. You know, it's obviously got a massive battery in it, and provided you obviously do enough mileage to charge the battery up, sometimes what we do is we put a battery pack, you know, for your phone, plug it in, leave it there, and it's always charged, which is really handy. I mean, it's great for that. There's a whole lot of other things as well, but there's too many to mention. I'm wondering, what is it like in reverse going up a hill? So he's giving it a bit of throttle. That's like literally 1100 RPM. We're just creeping up a hill nicely. No, I'm honestly surprised because this is grass, right? On normal road tires, these are not off-road tires at all. Not a single bit of slippage. That's pretty impressive.
Now it's time to rate the vehicle. Okay, so future classic.
Ooh, this is one of those ones where it's really hard to say. I know I think I kind of say that all the time, but it's a 3.5 litre, no, sorry, 3.8 litre, I think it is, V6 petrol, producing 207 odd horsepower. It is really nearly a classic if you think about it. It's nearly 20 years old. There's not many of them you see on the road. I'm going to say it is a classic. I might be a bit controversial, but how many ML350s have you seen about? And there is going to be someone who wants to keep one as a classic car.
It's not the big engine one. It's not the, what is it, the 55?
It's not a big engine one, but it still has a big engine. I mean, 3.8 litre V6, that's bigger than a
I'd put it as a 6.
GTR.
I'd put it as a 6 maybe.
Okay, we'll meet the 6. It's likely, but I mean, it's pretty much nearly there.
Yeah. Daily.
Awful.
Yeah, but I mean, it's practical, but it's
fantastically awful. It was a daily, and put it this way, it was a daily until they bought another car, because it was not a very good daily.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of put you in perspective. So I'm going to say it's not bad, but it's not great. Probably a 4, to be honest with you.
I give it a 4 because
it's really comfortable though.
The fuel
it's rather
consumption
comfortable.
is in the bin. So,
awful.
Wallet hurt.
It's an arm and a leg, to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I mean, to put 2 new tyres on the front was 200 something quid a piece, or something like that. We're going to give it a
4.
Give it a 6, I would say.
6. Okay. And fun. I mean, off-roading's fun.
But how often do you go off-roading? Once in a few months, maybe, at a push?
I mean, when we reviewed the Freelander, we gave it a 7 for fun.
Yeah, I think for the fact that for the Freelanders, you had a good bit of punch on the engine.
Yes.
It was rather responsive in your steering, and it didn't feel like an SUV, to be honest. It felt more like a sports car, it was just really weird to describe. Where with the ML, you turn it and it's like the Titanic's turning. I would say probably closer to it's fun, but only sometimes a 4, I would say.
4. So,
total.
I feel like I was really harsh, but I mean,
It's
it's harshness. It's being critical of the cars.
This is our take on cars. So
Yeah, but I do like it, and we do
Yeah.
have it. So,
total 20
Out of 40.
Out of 40.
which is 50%.
Bang
Which we're being harsh. It has its purposes, and this is probably not the best 4 categories to rank it on. It's meh. It's meh, but good in a good way.
So yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow our podcast channel. Link in the description. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. You'd eat your dinner off those sidewalls. They're that big.
You could.